Hey guys, I'm Nathan from Arms and Armor. Today I want to look at this Warhammer, and we're going to try it out against a piece of plate armor that is a replica of a piece that's roughly contemporaneous with it. So it should be cool. Stay tuned. So this hammer is a replica of one that's in the Wallace collection that we were able to examine and reproduce really closely. The head on it weighs about a pound, right? So it's not a giant sledgehammer. Right? You don't fight with giant sledgehammers. Anytime there are reports of fighting with 10-pound hammers or 20-pound hammers, it's myth, right? Those are superheroes, not actual people. A hammer needs to be balanced so that it can move right around, just like any tool that you would use for fighting. Now this, from around the year 1450, would have been used by a man in full plate harness, full plate armor, to fight primarily other armored men. Right? This, sure, if you're unarmored and you get hit with this hammer, it will kill you. But this is really optimized for breaking armor and concussing people in armor, knocking them down and disabling them so they can either be taken for ransom or dispatched with a rondel dagger or something in the eye, right? So this is for disabling people in plate armor. And from art and historical descriptions, we know that these were used in both tournaments and warfare by knights, by heavily armored men against other heavily armored men. So this hammer, right, has one side with a relatively flat hammer face, although it has this spike on it that concentrates the energy right there a little bit, and a beak, right, that comes out to a kind of a slightly blunt point, because it doesn't need to be a razor blade on these things, and that would just get, the point would go away the first time you hit armor on it anyhow. And a spike up here, which is a little bit sharper for thrusting or putting it through someone's visor. The side spikes on these were in part probably a little bit of decoration, right? They also were probably part of the mechanism that held the entire head together, right? By pinning the various pieces together. And so turning them into spikes was a cool way to secure the head to the haft. They also, in case of, misalignment, or if you're smacking somebody, they make the sides dangerous as well. The langets here on the edges of this are primarily for helping to attach this securely to the shaft. Right? Longer langets on bigger pole arms, right, that might come down a foot or 2 feet or the entire length of the shaft, reinforced the whole shaft on longer hafted weapons. A short weapon like this, you're not going to develop the same amount of force as if you have a 6-foot long haft with this same hammerhead on it, right? So those long langets help to make the staff more resilient on those pieces. All right, let's take a look at using this against armor. So folks who have watched our videos before, this is our poor beat up Spalder. And so this piece of shoulder armor that is hardened, probably 16 gauge steel, which is historically thick for a piece of high Gothic shoulder armor. And so you can see that it is hard spring steel. And this piece has been pretty beat up by various weapons in the past. So I have a single lame from this, a piece that broke off of this, on a heavy bag here. I'm gonna hit it with the hammer and we'll see what it does. All right, so heavy boxing bag, reasonable facsimile of a person, and this lame on here. So I'm going to strike it first with the beaked end and see what happens. So you can see I hit that pretty hard, and it did dent the armor, but it definitely didn't go through it, which is what I would expect to happen. Let's try it with the hammer end. So that blow did this nice dent in it right here. So these kinds of weapons, right, are primarily not going through armor. What they are doing is breaking the articulations on the armor, right? They're busting the rivets, they're denting it, and they're concussing the person who's wearing it. Let's try it with this piece of articulated armor. So this is where I hit here and bounced off and deformed that lame, right? So if you're in a tournament and you're fighting with these kinds of hammers in full armor, you're probably gonna get smashed a bunch of times, right? And take a bunch of damage to your armor and to your body. If you catch this to the helmet, it's not gonna be great, right? That's really one of the ways you're gonna daze someone, you're gonna black out, you're gonna knock them down. Smashing them on the spalder with this, it's gonna hurt for sure, right? You might break bones, maybe. If you hit them several times in the right place, you're gonna break their armor, and that's gonna inhibit their movement, and then you'll be able to knock them down and kill them. Also, I should show you, the hammer is totally fine, right? After smacking that armor pretty darn hard, right? That was a good, strong strike. So it's a fascinating weapon from the period. It's really for damaging armor and abusing the person within, rather than just instantly killing them outright, which is often what you wanted, right? If someone's wearing, the equivalent of a $250,000 suit of armor, you don't necessarily want to kill them. You want to knock them down, knock them out, take them hostage so that you can sell them back to their family or their lord or whatever, so you can make a bunch of money on them. And these were really a pretty cool tool for doing that. Thank you.